Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back to another episode of Quran in English. My name is Ahmed, and I'm happy to be continuing through a new chapter, Surat Al Furqan, the chapter of the criterion. I think if I understand it correctly, but I'm going to change the format that I've been continuing with. I've been listening to the reader. I think I'm going to try and read it myself. So it's not going to sound as good, but at least it's going to be copyright free, which is quite good. And the second change, and the more important one, I suppose, is the change that has happened within myself. I started down this path of reading the Quran because my partner had passed away, and I was desperately trying to find an answer. And I thought the answer was going to be in the Quran. And then the only person that was coming to this channel, Muhab, then also died. And then I was like, okay, what the hell am I really doing here? And I was kind of just faced with the reality of my situation. And the reality of my situation is I don't know. I don't know what's right. I don't know what's wrong. I'm on a journey to figure out what I believe in. So I started reading the Quran. I think I'd like to finish reading the Quran. And essentially the change that has happened is that I'm no longer reading from the perspective of I know this is right, I know this is real. For me, I'm trying to read it to understand what it says and make my decision about what I believe down the line. If you're cool with that, then feel free to hang along. And I don't know how many verses we're going to do. I don't know what this new format is. We're going to try different things and we're going to move forward. Life is all about change, and I've changed a few things and ready to go. So thank you for a 2-minute intro? Oh, it's as long as I normally have them. Anyway, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Okay, تبارك الذي نزل الفرقان على عبده ليكون للعالمين نذيرا. Blessed is he, the one who has sent down the criterion, that's right, upon his slave, servant, so that he may be to the world a warner. The criterion, here there's said the decisive authority. Criterion is more accurate than authority. Is one of the names of the Quran, which means the decisive authority. Incorrect. Criterion is correct. Criterion, being able to distinguish right from wrong, using it as a way to figure out what is good, what is bad. Authority is incorrect. Authority implies that the Quran is what is putting us in control. No, the Quran tells us what to do, tells us how to make the difference between good choices and bad choices. It is up to us to enforce it. An authority enforces, that is not what the Quran does. The Quran does not enforce it upon us. We enforce it upon ourselves because free will matters, as far as I understand it. To his servant, obviously this is the Prophet Muhammad, but so that he may be a warner to the world for both humans and jinn. Does not mention jinn. I don't know where this phrase comes from, but so that he may be to the worlds a warner. Could be to the jinn as well. It could make sense, but it does not mention here. It's just said to the worlds a warner. Cool. الذي له ملك السماوات والأرض ولم يتخذ ولدا ولم يكن له شريك في الملك وخلق كل شيء فقدره تقديرا. The one who the dominion of the heavens and the earth, everything in the heavens and the earth belongs to him, and who had not taken a son, which obviously a critique of Christianity, at least a lot of the claims of Christianity, which I completely agree with because they make zero sense. And he has not for him a partner. There is no partner equal to God. And I think that's kind of like the biggest issue with the Quran, is saying that you cannot associate any partners with God in dominion, but not just in dominion, in everything. God has no partners. And if you say God has a partner, then there's a big issue. And he has created everything for the فَقَدَّرَهُ تَقْدِيرًا. So he created everything and he measured it precisely, ordaining it precisely. Everything was created exactly the way it was supposed to. وَاتَّخَذُوا مِن دُونِهِ آلِهَةً لَا يَخْلُقُونَ شَيْئًا وَهُمْ يُخْلَقُونَ وَلَا يَمْلِكُونَ لِأَنفُسِهِمْ ضَرًّا وَلَا نَفْعًا وَلَا يَمْلِكُونَ مَوْتًا وَلَا حَيَاةً وَلَا نُشُورًا. Yet they have taken from besides God, other gods that do not create anything while they themselves are created. I always thought that was a very good argument. here's the thing. I've always thought that, the other gods that you pray to haven't created anything, and if they've created something, can we see it? Where's the physical manifestation of it? But then the counter argument is, and I've had this issue with the Quran quite some time. The Quran judges all the false deities and false gods, saying, oh, look, they can't help you or hurt you. But as a rational thinking logical person, and a person who's trying to discover the Quran, just trying to discover God, how do I know that God exists? How do I know that God can help me and not help me? Can the same argument not be used against God? How do I know that God has created everything? You are telling me that God has created everything, which, okay, makes sense. It's a theory that makes sense. I cannot dispute it. I cannot argue against it. I cannot argue for it because I have no evidence. So that's what I kind of struggle with the Quran a bit. A lot of these arguments are very, they're applicable to the deities that other people pray to, but they're also applicable to God in a sense because we don't know, right? Anyway, they cannot create anything, and while they are created, and they do not possess for themselves any harm or any benefits. They do not control the dead or the living, nor the resurrection. Again, sure, I agree with you. Those things don't control those things, as far as I know. But you say God controls all those things? Okay, I don't know, right? وقال الذين كفروا إن هذا إلا إفك افتراه وأعانه عليه قوم آخرون فقد جاءوا ظلما وزورا. And those who disbelieve said, indeed, this is but a lie, that he has invented it, or has helped him at it a people that were others. There's a group of people, this is talking about the Prophet Muhammad, they're saying that he's other lying, or a bunch of people helped him. Like there were a bunch of people who had written this thing, had come up together, because we've heard these stories from the Christians, we've heard these stories from from the Jews. So it kind of sounds like something that we've heard before. They don't think that Muhammad was working alone. Newsflash, he wasn't. But verily, they have produced an injustice and a lie. Their claim is totally unjustified and untrue. Fabrication which he made up. Oh, the Prophet? Yeah, we're aware. وقالوا أساطير الأولين اكتتب وقالوا أساطير الأولين. I'm trying to rush through this and it's not working well. Let me calm down, breathe. This is day one of not smoking. Let's see how long I last. وقالوا أساطير الأولين اكتتبها فهي تملى عليه بكرة وأصيلا. Which means, and they said, it's the legends, the tales of the former people, which has written before, and they are dictated upon him in the morning and in the evening. This is how they think that the Prophet Muhammad came up with the Quran. The one thing that I've been thinking about quite a lot is the Quran from God? The one thing I can tell you for sure is the Quran is marvelous and magical and amazing. It is clearly very well written and clearly contains a lot of things in it that are amazing and superhuman, let's call that. Does that mean that it's from God? I don't know. I know that it's miraculous, I know that it's amazing, I know that it's fantastic, and I know that there's a lot of drive behind it, but we also know that there are supernatural creatures that have power and intelligence and strength long before us, much, much greater than us. So this is a part of what I've been thinking. But essentially the critique that's being said here is that they're complaining that the Prophet Muhammad has been studying them morning and night, and that's why he's doing it. I think it makes more sense that it was revealed to the Prophet Muhammad by a supernatural being, because that's what both the Muslims and myself believe, right? And that makes sense. But was that from God is the question. I don't know. Some Arab pagans claim that the Prophet Muhammad had been taught by the Bible by some non-Arab Christians. The Quran itself refutes this claim by arguing that a non-Arab could not come up with an eloquent Arabic scripture like the Quran when eloquent Arabs failed to produce something like it. For more details, see the introduction. Yeah, I do think that this is written in such precise form. It's kind of amazing. And it's very Arabic, very beautiful. I just don't know, is the question. Okay. قل أنزله الذي يعلم السر في السماوات والأرض إنه كان غفورا رحيما. Say, here it's an instruction. Again, we understand it as the Prophet, but it can be applied to any of us. Say, it has been sent down the one who knows the secret in the heavens and the earth. And the secret is anything that has not been really revealed. Anything that is, like the world's secrets, the secrets of people. Indeed, he is oft forgiving and most merciful. I struggle when it says, indeed, he is oft forgiving and oft merciful, because what does that have to do with him knowing the secret? It feels like two disparate thoughts. It doesn't feel like being oft forgiving and most merciful has anything to do with knowledge about secrets. Wouldn't it make more sense to use God's names as the knowledgeable one, the all-knowing? That would be connected. إنه كان العليم البصير. That would make a lot of sense, because he's knowledgeable and he's all-seeing. I don't understand why it's saying oft forgiving and most merciful. And the Quran does this quite a lot for me. I feel like there are some times when there's no the connection I can't really see. But again, I'm an amateur. I don't really know what the hell I'm talking about. I'm just trying to figure it all out. I'm just saying, as I'm reading it, these are the objections that I seem to be coming into place with. وقالوا ما لهذا الرسول يأكل الطعام ويمشي في الأسواق لولا أنزل إليه ملك فيكون معه نذيرا. And they say, what's wrong with this? What's wrong with this messenger? He eats food and he walks in the markets. If it had only been that it had sent down with him an angel, so then he would be with him a warner, and then we could kind of, see the angel and be like, oh, okay, this makes a lot of sense. And honestly, these are kind of valid points. I know that the reality is that he didn't come down with an angel, but these are valid points, valid critiques, and specifically for people who are trying to find the answer. Like, how do they know? Multiple people are telling them, I have the answer, I have the answer, I have the answer. How do we know the difference between who's telling them the right answer? Wouldn't something supernatural be a very important thing to go alongside all of this? And it would help a lot of things. It really does not make sense why we have to take one person's word over the other, not knowing which of the words are correct, Especially in modern day today. Anyway. Critiques. Let's also lower this a bit. أو يلقى إليه كنز أو تكون له جنة يأكل منها وقال الظالمون إن تتبعون إلا رجلا مسحورا. Or if it is delivered to him a treasure, if he had been given a lot of treasure, and this I kind of see from the time of the Jews, they were kind of asking for a king, and they wanted a king that had dominion and rule and blah, 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 blah. Or that it is for him a garden, and here it's supposed to see a sign of wealth, kind of, right? A garden is a sign of wealth, something that is amazing, that he may eat from it. And the wrongdoers say, you're only following a man who is bewitched. Which, again, kind of makes sense. Imagine somebody in your village, your city, your country gets a bunch of poetry. I do think that the Quran is poetry because it's written in poetic form. I don't think it's just poetry, but I think it is absolutely, it has rhyme, it has structure, it is grammatically perfect, as far as I can understand it, because I'm also very limited in my appreciation of the Arabic language. And he told you that he was getting all of this from an angel. Wouldn't you think, modern day today, not only will they say he's bewitched, they'll put him in an insane asylum. So these are very valid concerns. And my issue is, the critiques of these people is that they're having valid concerns, and I not that I'm saying it's deceit, but if I was to lie to you, I would tell you, do you think I'm lying to you? You know, right? Like, it's addressing the critique immediately and therefore trying to avoid it. So the best way for me to take advantage of you is to tell you, hi, by the way, I'm going to take advantage of you. Let me give you an example. If I used to do sales a lot, so I used to bring sweets from the Netherlands. And in the sales meeting, I would give them a cookie, a sweet, something sugar. And I'd be like, hey, if you have this cookie, you'll like it. You'll have sugar in your blood. You'll like me better. And then this sales pitch will be perceived better. And that works every time. Because I'm telling them exactly what I'm doing. And they go, oh, this guy's being upfront. Even though I'm being upfront about manipulating them. You know what I mean? So again, I agree. This is what people would say. He's a bewitched man because he sounds like a bewitched man, you know? And in a way, he is. According to the Quran, he's interacting with a supernatural being that is revealing to him pages and pages and pages of perfectly structured language that is well beyond his control. Very much, that is the definition of bewitched. You are undergoing something that is greater than yourself. And that is magnanimous. Yeah. انظر كيف ضربوا لك الأمثال فضلوا فلا يستطيعون سبيلا. See how they set forth for you the examples, but they have gone astray, so they're not able to find a way. Again, I really struggle with these because I'm like, okay, I am lost. I don't know what way to go. And then you're telling me that I'm lost if I don't believe in your way. Like, okay, so what is the answer? I don't know. But I don't know. I struggle. تبارك الذي إن شاء جعل لك خيرا من ذلك جنات تجري من تحتها الأنهار ويجعل لك قصورا. Okay. Blessed is he, the one who, if he willed, he could have made for you a better garden than that, which we don't see because it's not on the earth, that flow from beneath it the rivers, which this is an example of paradise, which again we don't see in this life. So why is this being given as an example? وَيَجْعَلْ لَكَ قُصُورًا, and he makes for you palaces. Again, we don't have any access to these palaces. How, like, blessed is the one who can do all these things, great, but as far as I can see, this is all theoretical in this world and only comes after we die, in which case it's too late. بل كذبوا بالساعة واعتدنا لمن كذب بالساعة سعيرا. Nay, they deny the hour of judgment day, and we have prepared for those who deny the hour a blazing fire. Okay. My claim about Judgment Day, I don't know. Yes, I understand the Quran is saying this. But I don't know. How do I know it's real? How do I know it's not real? I don't know. وَاعْتَدْنَا لِمَنْ كَذَّبَ بِالسَّاعَةِ سَعِيرًا, and we have prepared for those who have denied the hour a blazing fire. Which is really, if you'll notice the past couple of episodes of the Quran, you'll notice it's kind of my biggest frustration, my biggest gripe, specifically now that my friend has died as a non-believer. I'm struggling to see this perspective. I'm struggling to see that you're going to burn, you're going to burn, you're going to burn for not having faith, for not being guided by God, for not understanding. Why? I really struggle with this. I really struggle with this a lot. إذا رأتهم من مكان بعيد سمعوا لها تغيظا وزفيرا. تغيظا وزفيرا. And when it sees them, the hour, from a place that is very far, they will hear for her its raging and its roaring, and it feels like a lot of fear. It does feel like it's trying to scare you, right? Anyway. وَإِذَا أُلْقَوْا مِنْهَا مَكَانًا ضَيِّقًا مُقَرَّنِينَ دعوا هنالك ثبورا. And when they are thrown thereof in a place that is narrow, bound in chains, they will call therein for destruction. When they are tossed into a narrow place inside hell, chained together, then they will there will cry out for instant destruction. Yeah, it's too late, right? I don't know. I'm not motivated by fear, specifically not fear of the unknown. I don't know that this is real. So how am I supposed to, I'm trying, I'm praying to God, asking for guidance, and I still don't see it. If I'm honest with myself, and I have to be honest with myself because life is too short to pretend that you know the answer, right? لا تدعوا اليوم ثبورا واحدا وادعوا ثبورا كثيرا. They will be told, do not cry for once destruction today, but cry many times over. وادعوا ثبورا. No. But cry many times over? No. Cry for destructions many times over. This is a poor translation. Do not call today for destruction. Don't call for one destruction. Cry for many destructions. I think the purpose of cry for many destructions, it's not going to help you, is the main point to this. Not cry many times over loosely translates the meaning, but it's cry for destruction many times over, and it's not going to help you, I think is the understanding. قل أذلك خير أم جنة الخلد التي وعد المتقون كانت لهم جزاء ومصيرا. Say, is that better for them, or the gardens of eternity, that which is promised to the righteous? It will be for them a reward and a destination. Again, I have no visibility of neither the negative nor the positive. I don't know. So I don't understand. Is it going to be like this the whole time? Am I going to read the Quran like this? I'm trying. I have been struggling with this for a long time, and I am actively trying my hardest, and it just doesn't make sense. لهم فيها ما يشاءون خالدين كان على ربك وعدا مسؤولا. For them therein is whatever they wish, and they will abide forever, and that is on their Lord a promise that is requested, a binding promise. Again, can't see God, can't see when He's going to deliver it. Just have to take your word for it. I don't really know. How do I know that I'm supposed to dedicate my life to this? ويوم يحشرهم وما يعبدون من دون الله فيقول أأنتم أضللتم عبادي هؤلاء أم هم ضلوا السبيل. On the day that He will gather them and what they worship from besides God, and then He will say, did you mislead my slaves, my servants, those, or did they went astray from the path themselves? So the things that you're supposed to worship say, قالوا سبحانك ما كان ينبغي لنا أن نتخذ من دونك من أولياء ولكن متعتهم وآباءهم حتى نسوا الذكر وكانوا قوما بورا. They say, glory be to you, it is not proper for us that we take from besides you any protectors, but you gave them comforts and their forefathers until they forgot the message, and they became a people that was ruined. Doesn't this mean that it's God's fault? Because God is the one that gave them the enjoyment and their forefathers for so long that they forgot? This is the response to... And as the objects of worship, was it you who misled the servants, or did they stray from the way? And they'll be like, glory be to you, you gave them enjoyment and they forgot. Meaning, they're not even taking credit for this. I am struggling. Also, the people that worship other deities have experiences where they feel like they meet or they speak to or they engage with those deities. And as much as I have been critical of those interactions and be like, oh, those people are just misguided, those people have one step closer than we have of God because we don't hear God. We just have to believe, and that's how we move forward. Even if those people are misguided, at least they're having an experience where they're interacting with that thing. Whether it's jinn, whether it's a god, whatever the hell it is, they're having a physical experience. Feedback. Whereas here, we don't get any feedback. If something good happens in your life, you say it's because of God. If something bad happens in your life, okay, God didn't want it to happen in your life. You can pray for something, it'll happen. You can not pray for something, and it won't happen. And here, apparently, the things that are worshipped are saying, God, you're the one that gave them good things, and they forgot. My problem isn't that I've forgotten remembrance. My problem is that I'm genuinely struggling to believe. I keep trying to find the answer by hitting my head against this wall, but I don't feel like I'm going to figure the answer out. Anyway. فقد كذبوكم بما تقولون فما تستطيعون صرفا ولا نصرا ومن يظلم منكم نذقه عذابا كبيرا. The doomed will be told, your gods have clearly denied your claims, which again, they didn't deny your claims, but they just said that it was God's fault because God gave them the provisions anyway. So now you can neither ward off the punishment nor get any help, and whoever of you does wrong will taste horrible punishment. Again, doesn't feel fair because this isn't clear. So if people don't follow this, being exposed to it because it doesn't make sense to them, as far as I can tell, the Quran's answer is that God doesn't want them to be guided. But yet you punish them. وما أرسلنا قبلك من المرسلين إلا إنهم ليأكلون الطعام ويمشون في الأسواق وجعلنا بعضكم لبعض فتنة أتصبرون وكان ربك بصيرا. We did not send from before you messengers, except that they knew surely they ate food and they walked in the markets. They were human just like the rest. Which I thought was like, oh, of course, that's the argument. They were human. But I don't know. I'm frustrated and I don't see it. We have made some of you for others a trial so that you will have patience. And your God is all-seeing, and your Lord was all-seeing. And again, it seems to be patience. It feels like no matter whatever happens to you, just be patient. That's the right answer. Just endure. Oh, that's the last verse for now. Do we want to do more verses? I think not. I was going to try and power through. But I'm struggling. I'm still struggling. It doesn't make sense. The Quran has said a million times that God is the one who decides who is guided and who's not. And I'm genuinely praying and asking, please guide me. And I'm genuinely not seeing it. And all I can see is the logical inconsistencies, the problem with it. It doesn't feel like God. I genuinely, from the bottom of my heart, wish to be guided. And this does not feel like guidance. Okay. Anyway. yeah, صدق الله العلي العظيم. Thanks for watching. I have no idea what you're going to see from me next, because I have no idea what I believe in, what I'm looking for, and what I'm trying to do. So, yeah, if I figure it out, I'll get back to you. Ciao.